As the San Francisco 49ers see Shannon Schwartz and the 49ers gear up for their first preseason matchup against the Denver Broncos, one question is beginning to take over conversations across the fan base. Should the Niners make a trade for a wide receiver, and not just any trade? We're talking about a potential blockbuster deal that could immediately shift the balance of power in the NFC. Because let's face it, the current state of the 49ers wide receiver room is murky at best and straight up concerning at worst. If this team is serious about making a deep playoff run, and all signs point to that being the goal, then it might be time to put their considerable resources to work. Let's start with Brandon Ayuk, the explosive receiver who was supposed to be a focal point of this offense is still recovering from a devastating knee injury. Torn ACL and MCL back in October. And to make matters worse, it wasn't just ligament damage. There was additional structural damage inside the knee, which complicates the rehab and timeline even more. So as it stands, no one really knows when Ayuk will be back in uniform. Best case scenario? Maybe somewhere around the middle of the 2025 season. But again, that's a projection, not a certainty. And without him, the Niners are already missing a huge piece of their offensive puzzle. Then there's the Jawan Jennings situation. A few weeks before training camp, reports surfaced that he was essentially delivering an ultimatum to the front office: either pay me or trade me. Jennings did show up to camp, which initially seemed like a good sign. But then, conveniently or not, he aggravated a calf injury that he first dealt with back in the spring. And since then, he hasn't practiced at all. Now you can't help but wonder, is this a genuine injury setback, or is this his version of a hold-in, a strategic way to avoid putting himself at risk without a new deal in hand? Because from a player's standpoint, getting hurt before securing that next contract is the nightmare scenario, so Jennings might just be playing it safe. And who could blame him? With all of that uncertainty, the 49ers have been in scramble mode, cycling through wide receivers like they're speed dating. Equinemius St. Brown signed and cut. Marquez Callaway signed and cut. Andy Isabella signed and cut. Robbie chosen. Anderson signed. And honestly, probably a cut candidate any minute now. It's been a revolving door at the position, with guys coming in and out so fast, it's hard to keep track. And part of that has to do with injuries at the depth spots, no doubt. Jacob Cowing's got a hamstring issue. Demarcus Robinson might be facing suspension. Even Jordan Addison, not a Niner, but still relevant to the league picture, got hit with a DUI and is suspended for the first 3 games of the season. Meanwhile, young guys like Ricky Pearsall and Jordan Watkins are showing flashes, but they're unproven. It's not the most stable situation, to say the least. So here's where things get really interesting. The 49ers currently have the third most salary cap space in the entire NFL, nearly $47 million available to spend. That's an insane amount of flexibility for a team that's already loaded with top-tier talent. Only the Patriots and the Lions are sitting ahead of them in cap space, with the Lions recently jumping them with just over $47.8 million available. After that, there's a drop-off. The Cardinals are at $35 million and the Raiders sit at around $34.8. So San Francisco has this massive financial weapon they can use right now. And the big question is, will they? Of course. There's always the argument to roll that cap space over into next season, especially when you consider the fact that the Niners are still eating more than $80 million in dead cap money from players who are no longer on the roster. That's a massive financial burden. But at the same time, the front office has been quietly hitting the reset button on the salary cap structure. They've made some smart moves to clear space while still keeping their core intact. And more. Importantly, this team can win right now. Look at the names. Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Diomedor Lenoir. These are not just young building blocks. They are win-now players, and that's reflected in the contracts. Purdy's still on his rookie deal. Kittle got paid. Warner got paid. McCaffrey got extended. Williams had his contract restructured. Bosa got a historic deal. The core of this team is expensive and elite. This isn't a team in transition. It's a team built to go after a Lombardi trophy this season. Add to that the fact that the Niners are projected to have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL. The NFC West is wide open. The Seahawks are rebuilding. The Cardinals are still figuring things out. The Rams are dangerous but not unbeatable. If San Francisco can just stay healthy, which, let's be honest, has been a massive if during the Kyle Shanahan era, they are absolutely a contender. But that depth, that's where the concern lies. The drop-off between the starters and the backups is steep. And when your top two wide receivers are either injured or holding out, that spotlight on the depth chart burns even brighter. So what could help? A game-changing wideout, a dynamic, explosive number one receiver who can stretch the field, win one-on-one matchups, and elevate Brock Purdy and this offense to a whole new level. And speaking of Purdy, let's talk about the underrated part of his game, his deep ball. People often box him into the game manager category, but the numbers tell a different story. He actually threw one of the fewest percentages of passes behind or at the line of scrimmage last season. Only Jalen Hurts and Joe Flacco had lower percentages in that category. Purdy sits at just over 14%. That tells you he's not afraid to push the ball downfield. He processes quickly, throws with anticipation, and layers the ball into tight windows. He's not just a dink and dunk quarterback. He's got the arm and the confidence to attack deep. But to truly unlock that part of the offense, you need receivers who can separate and go get it. And separation was a huge issue last year. Niners, wideouts struggle to get open consistently. That puts extra pressure on the quarterback and limits the play calling options. So what happens if you drop an elite wide receiver into this offense? Someone who demands attention, forces defenses to back off, and opens up everything underneath for Kittle and McCaffrey. Suddenly, you're looking at an offense that can go toe-to-toe with any team in the league. That brings us to two names that have been swirling in trade rumors lately. Two proven stars who would instantly become the number one option in San Francisco, Terry McLaurin and Tyreek Hill. Both guys are electric. Both guys are unhappy with their current situations. And both could be available for the right price. Let's start with McLaurin. For years, he's been the lone bright spot in a dysfunctional Washington offense. Quarterback carousel, coaching changes, front office drama, none of it stopped him from putting up 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And now, heading into the final year of his deal, he wants to get paid like a top-tier receiver. Problem is, the Commanders haven't budged. He's currently not even in the top 10 highest-paid wideouts, and he wants to change that. According to reports, he's looking for a deal with elements of DK Metcalf's contract, which averages around $33 million per year. There's some real history between McLaurin and the 49ers as well. Last year, when Ayuk was reportedly unhappy and looking for a trade, Washington was one of the top destinations mentioned, mostly because of Ayuk's admiration for Jaden Daniels and his relationships inside the Commanders' facility. At the time, San Francisco might have been willing to send Ayuk to Washington if McLaurin had been part of the return. But the Commanders didn't want to move him. Fast forward a year later, and now it's McLaurin who's frustrated, while Ayuk is still sidelined with that knee injury. Would the Commanders reconsider a deal now that the tables have turned? It's a fascinating scenario, though not without complications. McLaurin is older than Ayuk, and he's going to demand more money, but he's also more proven, more durable, and ready to contribute right away. You plug him into this 49ers offense, and he instantly becomes a security blanket for Purdy, a deep threat for Shanahan, and a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. That said, it will be a massive move, one that signals San Francisco is all in on this season. Then there's Tyreek Hill. Let's not sugarcoat it. Things are getting weird in Miami. There's been growing tension between Hill and Head. Coach Mike McDaniel, and recently it spilled out into the media. Hill said things publicly that clearly didn't sit well with the Dolphins brass. And this isn't the first time. These flare-ups have been happening for a while now. It's part of the reason the Chiefs moved on from him in the first place, as talented as he is. And he's one of the most electrifying players in NFL history. Hill is also a big personality, and not every locker room is built to handle that. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The San Francisco 49ers reportedly find themselves in turbulent waters this week after shocking news emerged from defensive star Nick Bosa, who allegedly stated he would no longer play alongside running back Christian McCaffrey. Sources close to the team suggest that internal friction has escalated following Bosa's controversial remarks, raising questions about locker room chemistry and team leadership. Insiders speculate that Bosa's statements, though not officially confirmed by the franchise, may reflect deeper disagreements regarding play style, offensive schemes, or even contract-related frustrations. Analysts have begun debating whether this rumored feud could significantly impact the 49ers' performance on the field, especially considering the importance of both players to the team's Super Bowl aspirations. The whispers from around the league suggest that this tension, if genuine, could lead to dramatic shifts in team dynamics, potentially forcing coaching staff to rethink defensive alignments or even consider trades as a last resort. Fans have already taken to social media, creating a frenzy of speculation that ranges from questioning Bosa's commitment to suggesting that McCaffrey might be the one in jeopardy. Even casual observers are weighing in, amplifying what could become one of the most talked about controversies in recent NFL history, particularly given the high profiles of both athletes involved. Reports indicate that the alleged rift between Bosa and McCaffrey has sparked a flurry of speculation about how the 49ers front office might respond if the situation escalates further. Industry insiders are quietly suggesting that the team's management could face a delicate balancing act as they try to maintain harmony while keeping two of the league's most impactful players on the field. Rumors are circulating that meetings behind closed doors have already occurred with coaches and executives attempting to mediate tensions, though the success of such interventions remains uncertain. Some observers are hinting that the disagreement may extend beyond personal differences and into tactical disputes, with Bosa potentially frustrated by offensive strategies that he feels do not complement his defensive contributions. Meanwhile, McCaffrey's camp has remained largely silent, fueling further conjecture about whether the running back is seeking reassurance from the organization or simply allowing the drama to play out publicly. Media pundits are drawing comparisons to past NFL conflicts that have destabilized teams mid-season, pointing out that even a hint of disunity between star players can ripple through the locker room and affect overall morale. If these rumors hold any truth, the 49ers may need to navigate an extremely delicate situation to prevent internal discord from derailing what had been a promising season, making every public appearance and press conference a potential flashpoint for new developments in this unfolding saga. In addition to internal team concerns, sports commentators are speculating about the broader implications of a potential fallout between Bosa and McCaffrey on the NFL landscape. Some suggest that rival teams may view the rumored tension as an opportunity to exploit perceived weaknesses, while trade rumors are already emerging in the background, with agents and scouts quietly assessing possibilities. The gossip surrounding the 49ers could have financial ramifications as well, as merchandise sales and sponsorships might fluctuate depending on how the public perceives the situation. Further speculation posits that Bosa's statements could influence coaching decisions regarding play calling, as strategic adjustments might be considered to avoid forcing two high-profile players into uncomfortable on-field situations. Analysts have also raised the question of leadership roles, questioning whether other members of the locker room might take sides or attempt to mediate the rumored discord, potentially creating new alliances or tensions. Social media conversations have become a storm of conjecture, with fans dissecting past games, interviews, and sideline behavior to look for hints confirming or denying the alleged rift. The cumulative effect of these swirling rumors may put the 49ers in an unusual position where perception becomes as significant as performance, amplifying pressure on coaches and players alike to present a unified front while privately navigating a potentially volatile situation behind closed doors. Meanwhile, betting markets, fantasy football communities are not ignoring the potential consequences of the Bosa-McCaffrey rumors, with odds shifts and player projections reflecting the uncertainty surrounding the 49ers' future. Speculators are analyzing every snippet of available information, from training camp reports to pre-game interviews, in search of indicators that could confirm whether the situation is a passing storm or the beginning of a larger crisis. Sports writers and columnists are hypothesizing that even if no public confrontation occurs, the mere possibility of tension between two star athletes could affect team cohesion and game day decision-making. Insider chatter suggests that veteran players might play a pivotal role in calming nerves, as leadership from experienced members could either mitigate or exacerbate the alleged divide. Rumors even hint at the possibility of conditional trade discussions, although sources caution that nothing concrete has been decided, leaving analysts to speculate about which teams might be most interested if a high-profile move were to occur. Fans are reportedly divided, with some rallying behind Bosa, others defending McCaffrey, and a significant portion eagerly consuming every rumor to anticipate how this story will evolve. The pervasive uncertainty surrounding this alleged conflict continues to dominate headlines, reflecting the potent mix of star power, media attention, and high stakes that makes NFL rumors such a compelling subject for discussion across multiple platforms. As the situation continues to unfold, insiders suggest that the 49ers handling of this rumored conflict could become a case study in crisis management within professional sports. Pundits speculate that coaching strategies, media appearances, and locker room interactions may all be subtly influenced by the alleged rift, with every decision scrutinized under the lens of team unity and performance potential. Some rumor mills even hint that player morale may already be showing subtle signs of strain, with practice intensity, sideline interactions, and pre-game routines potentially impacted by underlying tensions. Analysts are theorizing that if the speculation proves true, the organization might prioritize conflict resolution measures, ranging from facilitated discussions to re-evaluated role assignments, in order to prevent long-term disruption. Meanwhile, social media narratives are amplifying the story exponentially, with fans creating memes, polls, and discussion threads that further cement the Bosa-McCaffrey saga in public consciousness, regardless of whether any factual confrontation has occurred. Financial analysts also note that team valuation and sponsorship perception could be indirectly affected by these ongoing rumors, as brand association with stability and success is critical to high-profile franchises. Ultimately, the 49ers may find themselves walking a tightrope between quelling speculation and maintaining a winning trajectory, with every decision, statement, and practice session potentially magnifying or diffusing the storm that is captured the attention of the NFL world and sports fans alike. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.